Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper. Today I'll be doing my top 5 favourite video game remakes. Now on today's list I'll be going with some of the remakes of old games that have been remade in today's video game climate, and I'll just be going for some of the games that I feel like are quite interesting and quite fun to play, and I'll just be going over some of the reasons why I feel like these games are some of my favourite remakes of some of the games. So, for number 5 is Lynx Awakening. Now this is a Zelda game a Zelda remake of a Game Boy game, and I would say that this is a very good remake because not only does it update the graphics, but it also has like a lot of cool new features in the game. Like there's this new section in the game where you can make your own dungeon puzzle thing, and you can use different rooms from the different dungeons and temples that you visited in the game, which I think is quite cool, because then that means you can have like this sort of like dungeon that could be filled with a ton of enemies and stuff like that, and then you might have in the final room with the boss you could have like, you know, Moldor or whoever, depending on which boss you might want to use in the game. And I would say that, you know, the Lynx Awakening is quite nice. I also like how the character models. They're kind of like, you know, cartoony in a way. Like, not like how it's kind of like, you know, how the Wind Waker did it, where like that was kind of like cartoony in a way. But I would say that with the Lynx Awakening remake, I would say that's sort of somewhere around those lines when it comes to the character designs. But I think that makes the game a lot quite interesting, because it kind of like sees you like, oh, kind of draws your eye. And I think this game also will help bring in new players, because even though Link's Awakening doesn't feature things like the Triforce, Zelda, Ganon, Ganondorf, those kinds of characters, you still have references to some of the previous games. Like, I think Zelda's mentioned at one point, I know that in the final fight, Ganondorf or Ganon is used as a face of the final boss, and there's also a lot of Mario references about. So I think that'll be another thing that will help new characters, not new characters, new players be drawn into the Zelda series. Like, oh, there's some reference to Mario and stuff like that. So Link's Awakening is a very interesting and very fun remake. For number 4 is Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy. Now, what I like about the Insane Trilogy is that it's really fun. It's like it is a very difficult platformer. And it's not the kind of difficult that it's impossible. It's the sort of you'll eventually beat the games, or beat each game. There being Crash 1, 2 and 3. If you have enough patience and enough memory of each stage that you play. And yeah, I think the updated graphics, if you compare the Crash games to on the Insane Trilogy to the original games on the PlayStation, and you can see that it's very, very better. I think it's really well made, and I also like the inclusion of Stormy Ascent and Future Tense, which are two added level to the game. Whereas with Stormy Ascent, which was a level that was going to be in the game originally in Crash 1, but got taken out for being too hard. Whereas with Future Tense was a whole new level built from the ground up by Vicarious Visions, which I think is quite nice. And I do like how in Crash 1 and 2 the time relics are brought into the game, and they weren't really in those games. They were really more in Crash 3. But I do like the whole new graphics, and I do like the gameplay. I like how you can use like the D-pad or you can like use two different controls for the gameplay when you're controlling either Crash or Coco. And yeah, I think it's a really good way of playing the game, and I think it's really enjoyable. For number 3 is Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now, what I like about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is that I think these are possibly the best Pokemon remakes ever, because like I played Heart Gold. I've played Shining Pearl. Those are two nice remakes. I think those are really good for their respective consoles and stuff like that. So with Heart Gold, it's for the DS, and with Shining Pearl, it's for the Switch. I think with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it's probably the best because, like with all the other remakes, they have several things added to them. So that means for Heart Gold, it has not only the animation style, but also the battle animation and style from Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, but it also has some added Pokemon there. So like you've got Togekiss, Mamoswine, an Electivire from Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. So like Gen 4 games or Gen 4 Pokemon in the Generation 2 remake, which I think is really cool and really interesting. And then with Oras, which is shortened for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, is that not only does it have the same battle animation and graphics as X and Y, but it also brings in Mega Evolution. So it has some of the old Mega Evolved Pokemon like Mega Mewtwo, Mega Charizard, and several other Mega Evolutions from Pokemon X and Y, but it also brings in new ones like the 3 starters, so Mega Sceptile, Mega Blaziken, and Mega Swampert. Then you've got Mega Steelix, Mega Glalie, and various other ones that are really cool and interesting, and brings in I think the Pokemon that do have Mega forms feel fresh and unique, and I think that's really cool. And also like the Delta episode that you can unlock at the end of the game, because that feels new, and I really like how you can fight Deoxys in space while using Mega Rayquaza. And I think there's a really interesting way of bringing in some more Pokemon and adding more lore to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. For number 2 is Skyward Sword HD. Now, what I love about this game is that it fixes a lot of the things in the original, like whenever you start up the game from a previous save, and you collect something like a bug or a bit of tumbleweed or whatever, you won't constantly get reminded of what that thing is. So like as soon as you pick that thing up, you won't have to look at it again. And also fee or fi, depending on who you ask, is reduced a lot. Whereas like if you play the original, fee would pop up every few minutes or so. I'll say every 10 minutes or so, and she will tell you, okay, go to this location, you can douse this, douse that, and yeah, it would get annoying at times, like, but I did enjoy it overall. But with fee, you can she can give you hints if you want to, because like you'll see your sword glow and see the pop up on your screen, and you can see the hint if you want to, and also the game Skyward Sword HD also gets rid of the Elden Volcano glitch, in that if you go towards the end of the game, when you have to find the 3 dragons, if you go to Lanayru first before Faron or Elden, and then once you've gotten the Song of the Hero from the dragon, then go talk to a Goron near the start of Lanayru, when you fall down to Lanayru, you won't be able to do Elden, and that means you'll have to probably go back to a previous save, and then and then in the HD version they got rid of that, and I think it's quite cool, because then you can really just choose which dragon you want to go to. And I really just love Skyward Sword. I think the graphics are well done. There are some things that I kind of prefer in the original than in the Switch version, but I think overall it's a very good remake, and I think it's a very good way of playing the game. Again, if you're a new player, not only will I suggest Lynx Awakening remake, but also just you go play Skyward Sword HD to have so you can experience how everything in the Zelda timeline began. And for number 1 is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, what I like about this game is that I think one of the things that stood out to me was more of the fights in the game, because this game is really fun. It's because it's kind of like with the fights you can basically just fight again, like with the original way, where it's kind of like you are given a bunch of enemies. You still do that, but I think then in the remake version of Final Fantasy VII, you can just go around, lock onto different enemies, and and you can just choose a variety of characters. And I do like and I do like how you can fight some of the guys. So, for example, there's a moment after the first reactor is blown up, and you, Jesse, and some of the other members of Avalanche go to the top to try and figure out why. And I do like the whole motorbike chase fight thing, because it really does help you just show, like, I think the game really just show, okay, you can do all this cool stuff, and it's really fun. And I do like a lot of the stuff that happens in the game, because like this is only like part 1 of how many of in terms of the Final Fantasy VII remake thing, and I do really enjoy it. I think all the voice acting in the game is done really well. I think the graphic wise, it's really great. It's a whole bit larger improvement over the original, where with the original there's kind of like rectangles and blocks, whereas with the remake it's kind of like very more next gen, that kind of thing. Like it's adapting to the current generation of console, that being the PlayStation 4, 5, whatever. And yeah, I'd say overall the Final Fantasy VII remake is a nice, interesting, cool game to play, and I think it runs quite smoothly from my experience, and it's just a really fun game to play. So that's been my top 5 favourite video game remakes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.